So, hey guys, you just heard a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song, and that is because for today's movie review, I'm going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean 5 Dead Men Tell No Tales. So, in this new installment, you guys, it's been, 6 years now since the last Pirates of the Caribbean film back from 2011, which was On Stranger Tides by director Rob Marshall, who, believe it or not, was born and raised in the same town and state that I live in now, Madison, Wisconsin. So I thought that was kind of a cool little trivia fact from the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean film. But in this fifth film, unfortunately, I don't know a lot about these two new directors that Disney hired to work on this new film. I think they worked on a really small independent film called like Ron Tiki or something like that. So clearly not a film that I've seen or know a lot about. But um, based on what I know about it, I think there's a lot of ocean scenes in it, so that's probably how they landed this directing job for this movie. But in this fifth Pirates of the Caribbean film, Jack Sparrow encounters a evil captain again, just like he does in all the other Pirates of the Caribbean films. His name is Captain Salazar, and he's played by Javier Bardem. And he, he's back from the dead. He wants his revenge on Jack Sparrow. So Jack Sparrow does some looking around. He meets new people, he meets new pirates, and he finds out about something called the Trident of Poseidon, where if you possess it, you can basically get rid of any curse that is related to the ocean. Anybody that's cursed by the ocean will now have their curse removed, and you can get rid of the undead from the ocean, like this Captain Salazar character, and basically make them dead for good and make them sure they're not zombies or anything like that. So, as the film progresses, Jack Sparrow has to, you know, find out how to find this Trident of Poseidon, who can help him find it, what kind of artifacts does he need, what kind of people does he need. So throughout the course of the film, he has to figure out who to trust, who he can track down, and how exactly he can get a hold of the Trident of Poseidon to take down Captain Salazar. So overall, guys, I really like this film a lot. I'm a little shocked that critics on Rotten Tomatoes are being so harsh on this movie. They were harsh on a lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels thus far, but I'm kind of shocked with this one. For me personally, Pirates of the Caribbean 1 is my favorite. Dead Man's Chest is my second favorite. At World's End is probably my least favorite. I have a lot of problems with the third movie. A lot of people would say that the fourth film was probably their least favorite out of the earlier installments. That one I didn't mind as much. I liked it better than number three, but it's not a great movie by any means. So I would say Pirates 5, this new movie here, is probably my third favorite Pirates movie. I really like the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. When I get to my positives and negatives here, you'll see what I like and didn't like about it. I like how they expanded it in a way. It did a little bit more with expanding the universe than the fourth film did. The fourth film really didn't do anything at all as far as expanding goes. A lot of the characters that you know and love from the earlier installments, there's more of them here in this movie than they are in the fourth movie. So there's a lot of things to like about the movie, and there's some things to not like about this movie. For the most part, as far as what I look for in a Pirates of the Caribbean film, I would say the first film and the second film, to me, are probably what I'm looking for the most. I like the adventure element. Is interesting things done with Captain Jack Sparrow. In the case of the original movies by Gore Verbinski, the first three movies, I think that would be, we have Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann, and a lot of the original characters are they utilized in interesting ways. Like I said, is the artifact they're looking for interesting? Does it help out the story in any way? So I just look for kind of the basic Pirates of the Caribbean fanboy kind of stuff, I guess. So I kind of went into this film kind of, expecting some things, but knowing that it's a fifth film and that there's probably going to be a lot of things about it that I probably wasn't going to like just because it's the fifth time around. It's kind of hard to keep the material fresh by then. So I feel like I put my expectations right where it should have been for this movie. And as a result, I like the movie. So for Pirates of the Caribbean 5, for my positives for it, I do like how they expanded the whole, Pirates universe. They spend a lot of time with the characters, which I really like in almost any story, really, not just in Pirates of the Caribbean. We learn a little bit more about characters. We learn about people who are connected and related to some of these characters that we're familiar with. So I like how they really made the effort to expand this universe and really just allow us to get to know certain characters more. The Captain Salazar character, played by Javier Bardem, we learn little bit more about Jack Sparrow's past through this character that Jack Sparrow has had problems with in the past and so forth. So, like I said, I really like how they expanded the universe more than anything else. There's also a lot of practical and CGI effects in this film that really are great looking in this movie. They are really good looking. They're really well established. They look like they spent a lot of time and effort on a lot of these practical and CGI shots. So great effort on these two directors' part. Like I said, can't pronounce their name. Haven't seen Ron Tiki, so I really can't say other films besides this film what their filmmaking efforts are like or anything like that. But great practical and CGI effects. So I liked how they handled that in this movie. Javier Bardem played a very threatening villain in this film. I really like that part of the movie. Really interesting character, interesting backstory, interesting how he connects with Jack Sparrow and everything, and kind of how the two of them really don't like each other and so forth. So, very threatening villain played by Javier Bardem here in this movie. A lot of fun action scenes are in this movie. I just really thoroughly enjoyed how the action was handled. It was fun to watch. These two directors choreographed the action scenes pretty well for the most part. There's occasional shots where just like, okay, I could use less smoke, less darkness. I want to be able to see more what's going on a little bit more when they reach the dark areas and stuff. But for the most part, there's fun action scenes. They avoid shaky cam where they can, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow is always fun to watch, and for the fifth time around, he manages to keep it fresh again. So, if you like the Jack Sparrow character played by Johnny Depp, I feel like for the fifth time around, and for being, doing this for a fifth time around, it's a very fun character to watch on screen. I also like the new characters in this film. I can't talk too much about them for spoiler reasons, but I do like how they further explain certain characters and how they connect with characters we're familiar with already. So I liked how these new characters help expand this universe once again. And overall, it's just a very adventurous movie. I liked how I was at sea, having fun with these characters, learning the pirate's life at the sea and everything all over again for the fifth time around. These two directors know how to make an adventurous film here, and it's a fun film to watch as a result. Now, for my negatives of Pirates 5 and why I consider the first film and the second film still my favorite installments in this franchise over this one. For my negatives, I thought there was a lot of cartoony obstacles in this movie. There's just so many scenes that feel like a live action cartoon. There's just so many scenes here where Jack Sparrow would probably be dead in real life if he really were to do some of the things that he does throughout this movie. Without going into spoilers too much, there's a scene where there's like this giant house thing that follows him during this bank robbery near the beginning of the movie, and there's just so many things that he does to survive this situation that nobody could ever live through in real life. So I thought that part of it was really cartoony. The character of Jack Sparrow felt invincible in certain parts of this movie, and I think that's not something that these directors wanted out of this character. Overall, I think Pirates 1 and Pirates 2 are just overall better movies. They're just more adventurous, they're more interesting. Davy Jones alone was a much more interesting villain than Javier Bardem was, even though Javier Bardem played an interesting villain in this movie. But I think the first and second film are just overall what I look for in a Pirates of the Caribbean film, and unfortunately, Pirates 5 just isn't quite up to par with the first and second film, in my opinion. There's also a lot of plot cheats near the third act of this movie. Just a lot of ways for the film just to kind of wrap itself up. It's pretty aware when it's at the 2 hour runtime at certain points. Just how they find the Trident of Poseidon and how they get certain things resolved just feel really sudden and quick at times. And I really wish the plot wouldn't have cheated as much closer to the third act of this movie. Also, the characters of Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann are in this movie, and that's not a spoiler because they're actually in the trailer. They're more so cameos, I would say, for these two characters, and that's really too bad. If you get Orlando Bloom in your movie and Keira Knightley in your movie, let them have big parts like they did in those earlier Pirates of the Caribbean films. They weren't in the fourth film. It's interesting to see what they're doing as the fifth film progresses and so forth. But for me personally, I really would have preferred something more than just a little cameo that the two of them both have. Give them something to do. If you have Orlando Bloom in your movie and you have Keira Knightley in your movie, give them some big, neat things to do. And unfortunately, this film just gives them little cameos here and there that are just really not all that good in this movie. So overall, I'm going to give Pirates of the Caribbean 5, Dead Men Tell No Tales, 8.5 out of 10. There's a lot of things this film does right. It expands the universe when it can. It's just a fun movie. The practical and CGI effects look good. It's a fun, adventurous film that, like I said, isn't quite as good as the first two Pirates of the Caribbean films. And things like cartoony obstacles, the plot cheats in the third act, Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann having just little cameos and not actual roles in this movie were a little annoying. But overall, it's a great film. If you like the earlier Pirates of the Caribbean films, I think you'll have fun with this movie. It's a good film. You know, it's not an amazing movie or anything like that. I would say the first two pirate films are still my favorite ones. But if you like Pirates of the Caribbean, I think you'll have fun with this movie. If you really didn't like the first four films, I don't think this new film is going to change your mind. So, really good movie. If you like Pirates of the Caribbean, I would recommend this movie.